Welcome to the Building Newfoundland and Labrador podcast, dedicated to exploring the interesting journeys of the people in the provincial construction industry. Presented by the Newfoundland and Labrador Construction Association, produced by Gale Force Winds. Join us as we chat with the inspirational individuals that ensure the continued growth of the construction industry and the province of Newfoundland and Labrador.
And welcome to the Building Newfoundland and Labrador podcast. We are now nearing the gala event, just finishing up a couple of last interviews. I'm Alan Dale. With me as always, Jerry Carew. Trina, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Trina Porter. I'm with Women in Resource Development Corporation. I actually do the youth programming STEMforGIRLS. And I started just in February of 2020, which is, if everyone recalls, 1 month before pandemic.
Yeah.
So I was hired to run an in-person conference, and I think this might be like the first big in-person thing I've done since.
Right.
So we run some virtual programming for junior high and high school girls and gender diverse youth.
Right. So what was your journey into that position?
So I've done actually a lot of event planning. Used to work a lot in the Environmental Network Center. But beyond that, my background is in political science, actually. Both my undergrad and my Master of Arts is in political science. I always say for what I do now, introducing STEM to girls and gender diverse youth, if I was a chemist, I could tell them about chemistry. But instead, I introduce them to a whole swath of role models. So now I get to learn myself about the construction trades and chemistry and engineering. So,
how deep do you go into the school system with your STEM programming?
Well, we're actually kind of external to it. So we're celebrating our 20th anniversary this year within STEMforGIRLS, and WRDC is celebrating its 25th anniversary. But I say we're at the beginning because we're since the pandemic, it all went virtual, of course. So at the beginning of the pandemic, we didn't want to put any extra stress on teachers. So we connected direct with the students themselves, so they can sign up on STEMforGIRLS.ca. To this day, it's a free program with thanks to our sponsors. But we're only just starting to get into school chapters and dealing with teachers again. So prior to pandemic, we very much dealt with teachers and schools, but right now we primarily deal with families.
And what do those STEM programs look like if somebody enrolls in one?
Yeah, well, every month there's a different theme that they cover. We're covering construction in December. And after that, we're actually covering each of the skill trade sectors, so manufacturing, service, transportation. But this month, November, we're covering oceans and blue ecology.
Wow.
So every month is a different kind of theme of STEM, where we really get into all the possible careers, and we really highlight role models through that. Like I said, it's all about if they can see it, they can be it. So putting real world professionals in front of them.
Sorry, Alan, I may have missed it, but how do you do your outreach? I don't know if you said that earlier. It was a bit noisy here. Did you go to the schools? How are you doing it now?
Yeah, and connecting with the girls. So once they become members, they can stay members from age 11 to 18. And we do it in every way we can, whether it's a podcast, quite frankly, or social media. We do send posters to schools, and we are starting those school chapters as well. So
Fascinating.
Are you pulling the role models from Newfoundland or on a broader scale?
I would say the vast majority of our role models are from Newfoundland and Labrador, but there are a scattered few from outside of the province as well, yeah.
It must be an exciting time to be talking STEM, because everything that's going on, as an example, a lot of the conversation the last couple of days have been around a very, very large-scale green energy project on the west coast of Newfoundland. And there will be occupations within that scope of that don't even exist now. We don't even know what they're going to look like. So to engage people as young as, did you say 9?
11.
11. As young as 11 years old to start thinking in terms of STEM and what their careers might look like, they're actually molding the future in the conversation.
Absolutely, and that's part of it is giving them the idea that pursuing math and science in high school, that's the foundation of careers that you don't even know exist because they don't.
Right.
Because at 11 years old, the career that you will be at 30, at 40, at 50, it really does not exist. Because if you look back those number of years, it's a completely different world. So they might, it's really about making sure they understand this is just the world as it is now. But they are the future, and they are the ones that will shape it. They are the ones that will make it greener and more sustainable, and push the limits of what that means.
So what is your feeling on an association like the NLCA? I mean, a lot of members involved in a lot of the things that we just talked about. STEM is near and dear to their heart. They need everything that we just described. So what is your connection with them, and how important is it?
I mean, it's been fantastic to be here for the whole conference and just connecting with so many different organizations and people, because it's really all about, like I said, the role models and putting new careers in front of them. So, the Construction Association is paramount to making sure that we can connect and network, not only with the ones that are established, but the up and comings, and connecting them back to the students that are not even, out of high school yet.
So how do they get a hold of you? If they're watching this now, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, STEMforGIRLS.ca, that's STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, for girls.ca, or you can email me directly at STEMforGIRLS@WRDC.ca.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your conversation, and thank you for what you're doing. You're making the world a better place.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to the Building Newfoundland and Labrador podcast, presented by the Newfoundland and Labrador Construction Association, produced by Gale Force Winds.